Ever wondered where your juice box ends up after you throw it out? The average American discards 7.5 pounds of garbage daily. Most of it goes to landfills, compacted and buried, but as the waste stream grows, so do the pressures on our resources and the environment. According to the UN, unsustainable consumption and production patterns are at the root of the triple planetary crisis. That's climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. You need something more specific? Plastic debris is found floating on sea surfaces, washing up on remote coastlines, melting from Arctic sea ice, and even in the stomachs of marine animals. It's everywhere. And if that wasn't bad enough, by 2050, plastic waste is expected to quadruple. What can be done? Well, look at this boat made entirely from plastic collected in Amsterdam's canals. Plastic waste repurposed into something beautiful and useful. That's where we got our inspiration from.
We already talked a little bit about what we're doing as a group, but we're part of an environmental enrichment program at our school, and we have a task to do an action project where we pick a social or environmental issue and we make kind of design a solution for that. So we chose sustainability and reusing materials and things like that. So what we did was we collected materials in the school that would usually be thrown out, like shredded paper or empty hand sanitizer bottles, for example, and we organized workshops with the students where we kind of reuse those materials in like the form of art project.
Great. It sounds really good, like what you're doing, and even like setting up this club in itself is amazing. So good on you for even starting it or doing it. What could you do more? I think it's really like a mentality thing. There's so much waste in our society. We're like, it's a disposable society in every way, and that's upheld with capitalism. Like the more you consume, the more profit large corporations make. So I would say like stay local as much as you can and use what you can from the school, as you say, all the waste products. Just use that. Recycling is essentially a myth. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but here, a lot of our recycling is just still incinerated.
As a group, we collect school waste and have students turn it into art. But before any of that, our first step was to try collaborating with the Eco Club to keep students motivated beyond our class project and beyond us. So, we met with the Eco Griffins about starting an Eco Art committee alongside them.
Okay, what are we doing right now?
So we asked the janitors to use the hand sanitizer bottles, and now we're emptying them of their contents, cleaning them, and taking off their labels. We plan to use these bottles for our planters workshop, where we're going to reuse waste from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right now we're just preparing a prototype for our first workshop that we'll be showing to the Eco Griffin Club this week. All it is a simple 3D projector that you put on your phone, and it's meant to display a hologram. And we're using CD covers to make this, and it should look something like this when we're done.
Donc aujourd'hui, comme vous l'avez deviné, on va fabriquer du papier. Première question, combien de personnes ici utilisent le papier? Everybody, right? Combien de personnes ici le réutilisent après l'avoir utilisé?
Transfer. You want to lay out your cross sheet. If you use coffee, you don't need to wet it beforehand. And then flip your bowl over on the sheet like so. Press it in firmly on all sides, and then use your sponge to soak up all the excess water.
In this first workshop, we worked with grades 7 to 8 on making handmade paper, a fun and creative way to recycle paper. It takes 70% less energy and water to recycle paper than to create new paper products from trees. Recycling just 1 ton of paper saves 17 trees as well as 3.3 cubic yards of landfill space. Paper mills use toxic chemicals and are some of the worst manufacturing polluters. When paper decomposes in the ground, it releases methane, a powerful greenhouse gas, and one of the main causes for climate change. So, recycling paper reduces greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution. The students seemed very eager to learn about recycling paper. During the workshops, they were engaged and really seemed to enjoy it. There were some groups in the younger grades that were fighting over sharing materials, but those conflicts were easily resolved. After the workshop, we put the sheets of paper out to dry and then peeled them off the next day. They were visually appealing, and they were also as functional as manufactured paper. We put them aside to later place them in our glass case near the office. Our first workshop was a huge success.
Est-ce que vous pensez qu'à l'école, on est durable?
À l'école, moi, je dirais oui, en partie. Ok, bon, pas à 100%, mais oui, en partie. Parce que je vois certains élèves vraiment... Parce que là, dans les couloirs, on a des poubelles, vous les voyez séparées. Donc, je vois souvent certains quand même prêter attention et jeter dans la bonne poubelle. Et d'autres pas, qui jettent juste ou bien qui laissent parfois des choses traîner dans les couloirs au sol. Donc, je dirais en partie. Quel pourcentage, je ne sais pas.
La majorité des enfants, you say, right?
Ah non, je dirais quand même que c'est 50-50 s'il faut mettre des pourcentages. Je vois des gens qui le font, mais je vois aussi des gens qui le font pas du tout. Donc, c'est pourquoi je dis en partie, oui.
After the success of the paper workshop, we eagerly planned the next one, phone projectors. CD covers once widely used have been discarded due to digital streaming. The covers are made of type 6 plastic, which is difficult to recycle and takes hundreds of years to decompose. That was the reason we wanted to reuse them. Unfortunately, students found it challenging to cut through the plastic, making the workshop nearly impossible. Additionally, scheduling it during lunch discouraged participation. In the end, only a single 7th grade girl joined us. This second workshop became our downfall.
Do you think the school is sustainable, and do you think they're doing a good job of recycling and reusing?
I think the school is doing a decent job of that. They at least talk a lot about it, so I think that's a good first step. I don't know if it's really a great culture about, being sustainable at the school though, but that's more like the students. I think the school's administration does a good job of that.
So, why are we back in the janitor's room?
Well, we're back here for part 2 because initially we wanted to refurbish the plant wall outside of the gym area, but then we realized we could collaborate with the green space project that Busa is doing. And so we decided to order 5 wooden pallets, and then we realized we just didn't have enough plastic containers. So we're just back here emptying out more, as you can see, and hopefully it'll work this time.
Okay, so after we emptied the hand sanitizer bottles, we came across these bags of clothes, and upon asking the janitors, we found out that they were going to donate them next week. So to be as sustainable as possible, we're going to look through them, see if we can use any of these materials for our t-shirt bag workshop.
Bonjour tout le monde, aujourd'hui vous allez participer dans notre atelier de sac en t-shirt. Donc pour commencer, j'ai une question à vous poser. Combien d'entre vous ont déjà participé à des ateliers axés sur la réduction des déchets? Peut-être même une fois dans l'école.
The world is flooded with an abundance of t-shirts. Surprisingly, the t-shirts we donate often ends up in countries like Ghana, where 30% of them end up being burnt, dumped in the ocean, or sent to landfills. In light of this, we planned the next workshop in collaboration with high school art classes so as to get them about the fast fashion industry. During the workshop, the students displayed great enthusiasm in creating their own bags. Although they faced challenges with some of the more complex steps, we provided guidance, resulting in a smooth and successful workshop experience.
C'est ta carte de rideau.
You have a mail?
Ryan made it. Ryan made it.
Oh.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, perfect hygiene became crucial, but the resulting waste, including single-use plastics like hand sanitizer bottles, poses an environmental challenge. Up to 10 million empty bottles end up in landfills, and schools are not exempt. Inspired by a janitor's room filled with discarded bottles, we collaborated with the elementary principal to organize a workshop. Working with enthusiastic third graders from 2 different classes, we painted and transformed the bottles into planters. The workshop was a resounding success, with students enjoying the creative process and expressing curiosity. Upon completion of the workshop, we wasted no time in assembling the planter walls in collaboration with the Green Space Group. Determined to make a lasting impact, we strategically positioned our planter walls in the newly constructed outdoor classroom. Additionally, we showcased our paper, t-shirts, and example planters in a glass display besides the office, proudly featuring our logo on each of them. With our endeavors this year, EcoArt will continue to thrive next year with the Eco Griffins. Our legacy endures, leaving a lasting imprint for all to admire.
Hi, we're back for the end of the action project, and we're just here to reflect on how everything went.
So by starting, we inspired many people throughout the school, starting with the janitors when we took their hand sanitizer bottles in their clothes, then the teachers when we offered those workshops for the students, and the students when we showed them how they can reuse unusable materials to make new things.
We think the students really enjoyed these projects. We really caters about everyone, the high school all the way down to the elementary. And I think the janitors really appreciated the service that we were doing for them, taking their trash and then making art out of it and making something purposeful out of it.
For the next coming years, we want to really take this project further, so that's why we started the whole EcoArt committee within EcoGroupon. I'm going to be the Minister of Environment next year, so I'm hoping I can continue this with my group mates as well, and we're just going to keep organizing these workshops in the school and have EcoGroupon help us with that and maybe even recruit new people.